Why did the shooter target Charlie Kirk? Motives, mindset, and what this must teach us. On the evening of September 10th, 2025, conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while speaking at a Turning Point USA event at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Police quickly identified a suspect, 25-year-old Tyler Robinson of Provo. Investigators say the shooter fired from a rooftop overlooking the outdoor venue. Robinson was later taken into custody and charged in Utah County. Officials have described the attack as targeted. The governor called it a political assassination. These are the basic facts on the record. Before we talk psychology, a necessary boundary. This was an act of political violence. It ended a life, traumatized witnesses, and attacked the idea that arguments should be answered with arguments, not bullets. Whatever we say about why, nothing excuses that. What is actually known about motive? As of the most reliable public reporting, investigators have not released a single definitive motive. Prosecutors and officials have suggested the attack was politically targeted. Reporting has noted a confessed role by the suspect and evidence recovered from a rooftop. Some outlets have cited messages or statements allegedly indicating ideological hostility toward Kirk. At the same time, state officials have publicly said the broader motive remains under investigation. In short, there are signals of political grievance, but the full motivational chain is not yet settled in court. Because responsible analysis avoids filling gaps with fantasy, the best way to understand why is to map what we do know onto well-documented patterns in lone actor political violence. That lets us explain behavior without pretending we can read a single person's soul. The pattern: lone actor political violence. Criminology and threat assessment research point to a cluster of recurring drivers in attacks like this. 1. Grievance turned identity. Most lone attackers are grievance collectors. Something, or someone, becomes a symbol of everything they believe is wrong. Over time, the grievance fuses with identity. I am the person who sees the truth about X. When the target is a high-visibility figure like Charlie Kirk, they become a lightning rod for that identity. 2. Moral absolutism and dehumanization. Language slides from "I disagree with him" to "he is dangerous," then to "he is evil," and finally to "he must be stopped." That cognitive ladder lowers internal restraints. Violence becomes framed as necessary, even righteous. 3. Radicalization in echo chambers. Most lone actors are not literally alone. They marinate in online spaces that reward outrage, supply simplified narratives, and normalize fantasies of retribution. Feedback loops shrink the attacker's world until action feels inevitable. 4. Leakage and rehearsal. Many attackers telegraph intent, posting, messaging, joking, scouting venues, rehearsing vantage points well before the act. It's part confession, part performance, and a way to psyche themselves up. Investigators in Utah have spoken about evidence and planning behaviors in this case, consistent with that broader pattern. 5. Perceived efficacy. Targets are chosen where the attacker believes the act will work: to shock, to silence, to be seen. A campus event outdoors, a public figure, a line-of-sight vantage point. These features fit the logic of performative political violence described in the literature and echoed in early reporting from Utah. The mindset behind the trigger. If you strip away slogans, the psychology usually looks like this: narrowed attention. The attacker's world collapses to a single storyline. Ambiguity. The oxygen of democratic life feels intolerable. Hostile attribution bias. Ambiguous actions by the target are read as malicious. Every headline, clip, or rumor is proof. Grandiose moral license. No one else will do it, so I must. This flips isolation into a self-anointed mission. Dissociation of consequences. The victim is a symbol, not a human. Collateral suffering, family, colleagues, bystanders, disappears from the mental frame. Those cognitive moves don't make the act understandable. They make its danger visible. What the Utah case underlines. The Utah shooting exhibits several features that align with those patterns. A public, political target at a set time and place, maximizing attention and symbolic impact. A prepared vantage point with a long gun, evidence of planning and rehearsal rather than impulsive street violence, rapid investigative traction, custody, charging, and statements from state officials emphasizing a targeted, politically framed act. Again, courts will adjudicate specifics, but the structure, grievance, target, staging, matches a known script. Why people do this, and why we must not excuse it. Political violence offers the attacker three intoxicants: meaning, mastery, and myth. Meaning, a story that explains the world and your place in it. Mastery, a feeling of control over chaos. I acted. Myth, notoriety, being the person who did the thing. But it delivers only ruin. A dead human being, Charlie Kirk, broken families, a community shoved deeper into fear, and a democracy that becomes less about persuasion and more about intimidation. Violence is not a shortcut to justice. It is the collapse of politics into brutality. What prevents the next attack without glamorizing this one? Take leakage seriously. Treat explicit threats, jokes about violence, venue scouting chatter, and fixation on a public figure as reportable risk, not online theater. Early reporting in Utah highlighted planning behaviors. In other cases, timely reporting has disrupted attacks. Strengthen event hardening without turning campuses into fortresses. Line of sight assessments, rooftop access control, and counter-sniper overwatch at high-risk events are unromantic, also essential. The rooftop element here is a sobering signal. Starve the myth, name the victim, name the place, name the attack for what it is. But deny the killer the mythology of necessary violence. Focus on lives harmed, not the killer's legend. Rebuild spaces for argument. A society that can argue hard without dehumanizing is a society with fewer people hunting for final solutions. Closing. Charlie Kirk was a husband, a colleague, and a controversial public advocate. In a free country, the remedy for a controversial speaker is more speech, peaceful protest, or the choice not to attend, not a rifle round from a roof. Whatever anyone thought of Kirk's politics, the act that ended his life was an attack on the civic space all of us must share. We owe his family clarity. We owe the public accuracy. And we owe ourselves the discipline to understand the psychology of these crimes without ever normalizing them.